Hello students, Manjunath here. I'm going to deal with the chapter that is reproduction in organisms. So coming to the first question, that what is reproduction? It is basically a process of formation or giving birth to the young ones of their own kind. Okay, here I mean the young ones of their own kind. Their own kind, I mean it is having the same chromosomes or the same genetic content, okay, and which will be similar to that of the parent, right? So coming to the first point in this particular chapter, that is lifespan. So what exactly is meant by lifespan? Lifespan is nothing but the period from birth to the natural death of an organism. Okay, the period from birth and natural death of an organism. Okay, during which particular period or during this particular period, a particular organism will be developing in its size, will attain maturity, and will ultimately will have the goal of what? Production of the new organisms or their offsprings to continue their generation. Okay, see the second point. During this period of time, to continue their generation, the living organisms do reproduce. That means they give birth to their young ones, right? Then coming to the different lifespans of different organisms. Okay, in case of humans, you can see the lifespan, it will be around 100 years, and in case of parrot, it is around 140 years, and in case of tortoise, it will be around 150 years. Then fruit flies, okay, the fruit flies, as you have already known, the Drosophila, okay, Drosophila melanogaster is the scientific name, okay. Because why I am telling about the fruit fly itself is, in case of genetics, it is the most important organism, okay, where the Morgan have studied about what? The particular mutations, right? Then fruit fly lives about, or else it has got the lifespan of 40 to 50 days. Coming to the next one, that is cow, which will be living around 18 to 22 years, right? Then what about horse? Okay, it will be around 25 to 30 years. Banyan tree is having the highest seen in this particular chart, okay, which will be living around 200 to 300 years. And next one is a reptile, that is crocodile, that will be having around 60 years of lifespan. So looking at this particular chart, you can come to know that a particular living organism, okay, or in a group of living organisms, okay, the lifespan may vary from just few days to few years, or else few days to some hundred of years, right? So coming to the actual part of the chapter, that is what is reproduction. As I have already told you, it is the process of what? Giving birth to the fertile young ones of their own kind. In the previous definition what I had given in the first slide, I had told you reproduction is just giving birth to the young ones of their own kind. It is not just giving birth to the young ones of their own kind, it is giving birth to, okay, the fertile individuals of their own kind. Very important point here. Okay, see here, very important point. Fertile individuals or fertile young ones. What do you mean by fertile individuals or fertile young ones? It is nothing but the individual which is or which has taken birth, okay, that in future should reproduce again. That means it should be capable of production of their young ones again, right? That particular part is called as what? Reproduction. Okay, if it is able or if it is capable of production of the new ones or else the young ones, that will be called as what? Reproduction, right? And the offsprings which are produced, they should be of their own kind. That means they should be of their own species. Say for example, if a human being give birth to an young one, it should be again a human. If a tiger give birth to its young one, again it should be a tiger. Is that clear? And some cases, why I am focusing on this particular point is, in some cases, say for example, where the hybridization has been done, okay, the lion when it is crossed with the tiger, okay, it has yielded the liger, okay, which is a hybrid of both, right? But the liger was not fertile individual, okay, liger was not fertile, it could not give birth to another liger. So that process we cannot call it as reproduction. It is not a proper reproduction. So what exactly a proper reproduction means? It is the process of what? Giving birth to fertile young ones of their own kind or fertile young ones of their own species. Now the question arises, why the liger is infertile? Why it could not produce the young one? Okay, very simple point. Liger is not the proper species or else the proper individual which is obtained by the cross of two parents belonging to the same species. It is the organism or individual obtained by crossing two individuals or two parents of different species, that is lion and tiger. Since lion and tiger are belonging to different group or different species, they both will have different number of chromosomes. Since they do have different number of chromosomes, in future when they form the zygote when it develops into an adult, then the number of chromosomes during the gamete formation will not work out. Okay, it depends upon the number of chromosomes. Okay, and it depends upon the compatibility. When the compatibility is not there, then the individual could not produce the offsprings or it could not produce the gamete itself. That is how liger has retained as what? The infertile individual only. Is that clear? That is reproduction. Hence, we can define it as what? The process of giving birth to fertile young ones. I repeat, fertile young ones of their own kind or of their own species. Right. Coming to the next one, that is types of reproduction. So in the reproduction, there are mainly two types, that is asexual type and sexual type. So let us study one by one. Okay. Coming to the first one, that is asexual reproduction. So what exactly is meant by asexual reproduction? It is a type of reproduction in which there is no involvement of fusion of gametes. Is that clear? See, what is asexual reproduction? It is a type of reproduction in which there is no involvement of what? The fusion of male and female gametes. Andre ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ asexual reproduction ಇದ್ದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ತರನಾದಂಥ ಮೇಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್ಸ್ ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೇಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್ಸ್ ಆದರೆ ಅದನ್ನೇನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? ಸೆಕ್ಷುವಲ್ ರೀಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್, ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಪ್, ಸೆಕ್ಷುವಲ್ ರೀಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಆದರೆ ಅಸೆಕ್ಷುವಲ್ ರೀಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್ಸ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ. ದೆರ್ ಈಸ್ ನೋ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ವಾಟ್? ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್ಸ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡು ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ if I mention the fusion of gametes, it will be always fusion of one male and one female gamete, not just fusion of two males or two female gametes. It is fusion of one male and one female gamete. Clear? I repeat the particular point again. What is asexual reproduction? It is a type of reproduction in which there is no involvement of fusion of male and female gametes. Okay, since there is no involvement of male and female gametes, okay, there is no need of having two parents. If only one parent is there, then it is sufficient for asexual type of reproduction. That is the important point here. In case of asexual reproduction, involvement of single parent will be seen. Okay, participation of single parent may be seen. Okay. Coming to the next point, the individuals produced by single parent or else the individuals produced by means of asexual reproduction are called as clones. Okay, individuals produced by means of asexual reproduction or else single parent, so they are called as what? Clones. Clones anta karitivi. Yake avಕ್ಕೆ clones anta karitivi andre because they are morphologically and genetically similar. Very important point it is. Nodri, ಏನಿರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ they are morphologically, that means external appearance, as well as genetically, that means the genetic content. In both of these, they will be similar to their parents. Okay, andre morphologically external appearance as well as the genetic content, andre regarding to their chromosomes and the genes. So, when they are morphologically and genetically similar to their parents, they can be called as what? Clones. As you have already studied about what? The clones, as you have already known. If you don't know, just come here, I will explain. Clones are nothing but the individuals having same genetic content and same morphology. Okay, same genetic content in particular. If the genetic content of any two organisms are same, then they may be called as what? Clones. Okay, and do remember, clones are usually produced by means of what? The asexual reproduction, wherein which single parent will be involved. Clear? Coming to the next point, see, I have mentioned here there will be no changes in the morphological as well as genetical content. Okay, morphological structure as well as genetical content. There will be no change, I have mentioned. The next point itself will deal with the same thing, that is, no variations are seen. Since they are produced by single parent, there will be no variations. Okay, no variations. That means they will be genetically identical. Okay, variation point regards to what? The genetic content. If there is any change in the genetic content of the individual produced from that of the parent, then genetic variations will be there. If there is no changes, okay, if there is no change from parent to the offspring in their genetic content, then there will be no variation in their genetic content. Andre, asexual type of reproduction ಆದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ genetic content of the parent ಮತ್ತೆ genetic content of the individual ಅಥವಾ offspring ಎರಡೂ ಸೇಮ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ವೇರಿಯೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಕಂಡು ಬರಲ್ಲ, ವೇರಿಯೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಆಗಲ್ಲ. So that is, no variations are seen. Next point is, there is no scope for evolution. So you people are already been very familiar with the point of evolution. Evolution ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ gradual changes that are occurring in the individuals with their genetic content, which will show their changes in their structure. Okay, gradual, like say for example, human being was like ape. Okay, human beings were like what? Ape in the earlier days, but nowadays we have developed what? Into a modern human beings. Okay, ಏಪ್ಸ್ ಥರ ಇರ್ತಿದ್ರು ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಬೀಯಿಂಗ್ಸು, ಅಥವಾ ಜಿರಾಫೆಗೆ ಸಣ್ಣ ಏನು ಕುತ್ತಿಗೆ ಇರ್ತಿತ್ತು. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಎವಲ್ಯೂಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲ್ತಿದ್ದೀರಿ, ರೈಟ್? ಎವಲ್ಯೂಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಕಲ್ತಿರ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಎವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಪ್ರಾಸೆಸ್ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಏನಾಗಬೇಕು? ವೇರಿಯೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. ವೇರಿಯೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಜೆನೆಟಿಕಲಿ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಪ್ರಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ ಆಗಿ ಉಳ್ಕೊಂತು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಎವಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಗುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಆದ ಕಾರಣ asexual reproduction ಅಲ್ಲಿ there will be no scope for evolution. If at all there is a scope, it will be very least. Okay, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ we will tell that there will be no scope for evolution. Right? Coming to the next point, that is process of reproduction development and is fast. Okay, the process of reproduction and development is fast. That means in case of asexual reproduction, it is a faster process when compared to the sexual type. Okay, the process of reproduction, see here, the process of reproduction and development will be fast in nature. Andre, in case of asexual reproduction ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? The process will be faster when compared to the sexual type of reproduction. ಯಾಕೆ ಫಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ. In the coming slides, I will explain you why the asexual reproduction will be faster when compared with the sexual type. Coming to the next one, the types of asexual reproduction. So there are different types in case of asexual reproduction. Okay, different organisms will show their own methods of what? Asexual reproduction. Okay, in those there are different types. In those, the first one is binary fission. So what is binary fission? Which is seen in the amoeba. Okay, binary fission is a type of asexual reproduction that is seen in the very basic or else very primitive organisms such as amoeba. So coming to the point, that what exactly is meant by binary fission? It is a type of asexual reproduction in which The body of an organism, okay, the body of an organism will be cut into or will be bifurcated into two parts, in which both the parts which are produced, they will be developing as their own individual. Okay, they will develop as an individual organism. ಅಂದರೆ ಒಂದು ಅಮೀಬಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಇಮ್ಯಾಜಿನ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ, ಸಿ ಹಿಯರ್ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಡ್ರಾ ಇಟ್. ಒಂದು ಅಮೀಬಾ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಏನಾದರೂ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಇಮ್ಯಾಜಿನ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ, ಇದರೊಳಗಡೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಈ ಅಮೀಬಾ ಈ ರೀತಿ ಎರಡು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ಸೊ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ 1 ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ 2. ಸೊ ಬೋತ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ 1 ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ 2, okay, when they are separated from each other, they will be able to, or they will be capable of surviving, and they will be capable of living their life individually. Okay, ಅಂದರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಮೀಬಾ ಸತ್ತೋಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಲ್ಲ ನಾವು. ಅಮೀಬಾ ಎರಡು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಡಿವೈಡ್ ಆದರೆ we cannot say that it is dead, because both the parts which are divided as so, they will be capable of leading their life individually, independently. That is called as what? Binary fission. Here the word bi means what? Two. When the individual's body or when the organism's body is separated into two parts, both the parts will be capable of what? Developing into two separate individuals. So it is found in case of what? Amoeba. Okay, it's a type of asexual reproduction in which, okay, I'm repeating the point. See, binary fission is a type of asexual reproduction in which the body of an organism can be divided into two parts, where both the parts will be leading their individual life separately. Okay, both will become independent from each other and they will be alive again. Right? So next point, next type of asexual reproduction is fragmentation. ಎರಡನೇ ಥರದ್ದು ಯಾವುದಂತಂದರೆ fragmentation ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So what do you mean by fragmentation? What is fragmentation? Very simple. It's a type of asexual reproduction again. Okay, it's a type of asexual reproduction again in which the body of an organism will be fragmented into several pieces. In case of binary fission nodri, in case of binary fission ಒಳಗಡೆ only the body have been separated into two parts, or it was divided into two parts. ಆದರೆ fragmentation ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ, the body of a particular individual or a particular organism will be fragmented or will be made into several pieces. And interestingly, all the pieces or all the fragments which are resulted, they can live or they can become an independent organism again. Andre, say for example, it is found in case of bryophytes. In case of bryophytes, okay, the best or common example is what? Rixia. Okay, in case of bryophyte, whatever example you take, what happens when the body of that particular bryophyte is broken into many pieces? Okay, say for example, if the plant, okay, or if the bryophyte body is broken into 10 pieces, each and every piece will be able to live or will be able to survive. Okay, will be able to lead their own life, or they will become an individual what? Organism. Right? So that is called as what? Fragmentation. Andre fragmentation alli enagutte, it is a type of, okay, fragmentation is a type of asexual reproduction in which the body of the organism, illi draw ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀನಿ ನೋಡ್ರಿ, body of the organism can be broken down into several fragments like this. Okay, it can be broken down into several fragments. Each fragment can become an independent individual, or each fragment can develop into an independent organism. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? ಫ್ರಾಗ್ಮೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. And that fragmentation can be found in the bryophytes. Okay, and you already know the asexual reproduction. Okay, I want to mention here one point. ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ asexual reproduction is usually seen in what? The individuals which are very primitive in their developmental structure. Okay, in the primitive individuals, primitive ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ not highly developed ಅಂದಂಗೆ. Okay, primitive ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? Not highly developed. Okay, they are very primitive ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ they are least developed. Okay, so in those particular organisms, the asexual reproduction is commonly found. Generally, asexual reproduction will be dominating in them, right? Then the next type of asexual reproduction is budding. So you have already studied, or you have already seen, or even you may have drawn the diagram of what? The hydra and the sponges. Okay, in the first year, okay, in the first year you would have studied, okay, the diagram of, or you have studied the particular part, that is poriferans, andre sponges ಬಗ್ಗೆ study ಮಾಡಿದಿರಿ. Even coelenterata ಬಗ್ಗೆನೂ study ಮಾಡಿದಿರಿ in the particular chapter, that is animal kingdom. So in that particular chapter you have studied about sponges and hydra, and in the practicals even you have drawn the diagram of hydra and sponges. When you have drawn and labeled the diagram of hydra and sponges, you have shown one particular point that they do have buds. Okay, bud anta iruvudanna ಒಂದು structure ಅನ್ನು ತೋರಿಸಿರ್ತೀರಿ. What is that bud? It is nothing but asexual reproductive structure. Okay, what is bud? It is asexual reproductive structure which will be developed on the parent body itself, and after certain period of time the bud will be separated from the parental body. Okay, the bud will be separated from the parental body, and ultimately it will develop into an individual. Okay, say for example ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನೋಡ್ರಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಈ ಥರ ನೀವು ಸ್ಪಾಂಜ್ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಅನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಸ್ಪಾಂಜ್, okay, in case of cycon you have shown this particular thing. Okay, ಇದೇನಿದು parent body. Okay, the first one is parent body and the second one is what? It's bud. Okay, the first one is parental body and second one is the bud. And what will happen? The bud will be separated from the parental body and it will live its own life. Okay, it will live its own life separately or independently. Adanna neevu kaltidiri. Even you have drawn the diagram, right? So that type of reproduction is called as what? The budding. Clear? And budding is prominently seen in case of yeast, hydra and sponges, right? So coming to the next point of, or next type of asexual reproduction, that is zoospore formation. Okay, by the name itself you can understand zoospore. That means these are the spores, okay, which are motile in nature. Motile means what? Movable. Okay, mobile ಅಂತಂದು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, motile ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Motile or mobile ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ movable. That means they can move from one place to other place because they will be having their locomotory structures. Okay, such as the flagella will be there. Okay, since they have got the flagella, they can move from one place to other place. That is why they are called as what? Zoospores. Zoo here gives the meaning motile. Okay, because zoo ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ animals ಗೆ refer ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, and animals can move from one place to other place. That is why the spores which can move from one place to other place actively, they are called as what? Zoospores. And zoospores are the asexual reproductive structures, okay, which are microscopic and they are motile in nature and commonly found in case of fungi and algae. Okay, in case of fungi and algae, asexual reproductive structures are found which are called as zoospores. Why? Because these are the spores which are motile in nature. Okay, the microscopic and motile structures, okay, which will help for asexual reproduction are nothing but zoospores. ನೋಡ್ರಿ ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸಲ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ, zoospores are nothing but the microscopic and motile spores. Okay, microscopic and motile spores produced by the fungi and algae. Okay, microscopic and motile spores produced by fungi and algae, which will help for what? Asexual type of reproduction. Coming to the next one, that is conidia. Again, conidia are the asexually reproductive structures which are found in the penicillium. Okay, penicillium you might have heard. Penicillium ಅಂತಂದು ಕೇಳಿರ್ತೀರಿ. In the penicillium, what will happen? The asexual reproduction will take place with the help of the structures called as conidia. And the point here is conidia are non-motile. That means they could not move from one part to other part because they will not have any locomotory structures. Okay, conidia are the non-motile structures produced by the penicillium for the purpose of asexual reproduction. Clear? So next one, in case of sponges, okay, see here, in case of sponges, usually what will happen? Budding type of asexual reproduction can be seen. Along with the budding type of asexual reproduction, some specialized structures called as gemmules are also found. Some special structures called as gemmules, right? These gemmules will be helping out for what? Asexual type of reproduction in the sponges, which is very, very important for your NEET examination. Okay, which are the asexually reproductive structures found in the sponges anta keltare. Okay, or dash are the asexual reproductive structures found in the sponges. Okay, the answer will be gemmules, right? Coming to the next one, that is vegetative propagation. Okay, vegetative propagation. What do you mean by vegetative propagation? Very simple thing. It is the type of asexual reproduction which is found in the plants. Okay, the type of asexual reproduction found in the plants. Okay, and here I have given some of the examples of what? The structures which help for vegetative propagation. Okay, the runner, stolon, okay, here the runner, then stolon, then sucker, rhizome, tuber, and the offset, and lastly the bulb. These are different types of vegetative propagation or vegetative propagules, we can call it as. These are the different structures which help for what? Vegetative propagation. Okay, and these structures which help for vegetative propagation are called as vegetative propagules. Okay, okay anta karitivi? Vegetative propagules anta karitivi. Okay, so what exactly these are? These are the structures, say for example, runner, stolon, and sucker, rhizome. These are nothing but what? The modified structures of the stem. Okay, modified stem structures which will carry the buds in their tip. Okay, they will carry the buds in their tip, and when they come in contact with the soil, that bud will germinate into a new plant. Okay, in case of runner and stolon, okay, see here, runner means it will run along the soil surface or along the soil surface or land surface. If you consider this as land surface, and if you consider this as grass here, okay, idanna grass anta consider madidre, runner will be running along the particular surface of the soil. And what about stolon? It will assume a structure like this, arc-like structure. Okay, it will take arc-like structure, that is stolon. And sucker is found in case of what? Aquatic plants. Okay, sucker is found in case of aquatic plants. Even the offset is found in the aquatic plants. Okay, most common asexual reproductive structure found in the aquatic plants is offset. Okay, say for example, in case of pistia you can find. Okay, in case of pistia, or else even in the water hyacinth, commonly known as terror of Bengal, right? In that, the offset will be helping out for what? The asexual reproduction by means of what? Formation of the bud. Okay, next, the tuber in case of potato, then rhizome, okay, in case of the ginger, okay, and garlic, it will show the asexual reproduction by means of bulb, right? So like this, different types of asexually reproductive structures are found in the plants. Okay, and these are called as vegetative propagules. Okay, these are called as what? Vegetative propagules, right? Coming to the last one, that is leaf bud. Okay, coming to the last one, that is leaf bud. So what exactly is leaf bud? Nothing but in case of this particular plant called as bryophyllum, Brahma Kamala anta kelirtiri ನೀವು plant, Brahma Kamala. ಈ Brahma Kamala plant ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, No need to take a particular twig for its new generation or new development. If you take just the leaf and if you put it on the soil, or if you put it in the soil, it will start developing into a plant. Yakappa antandre, in this particular bryophyllum or brahmakamala plant, what happens? See, if you consider this as the leaf, okay, the edges of leaf will carry the buds. These are called as leaf buds. Okay, okay, nanta karitivi leaf buds. Marginal buds will be found like this. The marginal buds are found in case of what? The bryophyllum, which are commonly called as leaf buds. And when these buds come in contact with the soil, they will start producing what? The roots, and they will become independent plant. They will develop into independent plant. Clear? Like that, in case of bryophyllum, asexual reproduction can be seen with the help of the leaf buds. Okay. So these are different types of what? Asexual reproduction. Okay, these are different types of asexual reproduction found in different organisms. And do remember that asexual reproduction is not just confined to the plants, even it can be seen in the animals. Okay, in particular animals antandre not the higher animals but the primitive organisms. Primitive organisms in particular, if you want to know which are those antandre, say for example in case of hydra, sponges, right, then the amoeba you can see, right, sponges and hydra, they belong to what? The group called as the porifera and coelenterata. Okay, the phyla porifera and coelenterata, which belongs to the animals. Here the animals also show what? Asexual reproduction by means of budding and even by means of fragmentation, by means of gemule formation, like that. Right. Asexual reproduction not only found in the plants or primitive organisms, it can be found even in the primitive animals also. That is the point to note here. Right. Coming to the next one, that is sexual type of reproduction. Mundu barodu yavadu? Sexual type of reproduction. So what is a sexual type of reproduction? First question. It is a type of reproduction that involves fusion of male and female gamete. See here, very important point here. It is a type of reproduction, no doubt, which involves fusion of male and female gamete. In any of the reproduction, if there is a fusion of male and female gamete, it is nothing but what? Sexual type. Okay. And in case of sexual type, there are no methods or there are no different types. It is only one type. Okay. Illi bere bere types illa. Say for example, in case of asexual reproduction, ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು types idvu. ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ತರ idvu ಅಂದರೆ binary fission ಇತ್ತು, fragmentation ಇತ್ತು, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬಡ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಝೂಸ್ಪೋರ್ ಫಾರ್ಮೇಷನ್, ಕೊನಿಡಿಯಾ, ಜೆಮ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್, ಈ ರೀತಿ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಟೈಪ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ವು. ಆದರೆ ಇನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷುವಲ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ರೀಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್, ಓಕೆ, ಓನ್ಲಿ ಒನ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಈಸ್ ದೇರ್. ಯಾವುದು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೇಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್. ದ್ಯಾಟ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಟು ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್, ಏನಪ್ಪ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಫ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಮೇಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್ ಆದರೆ ಸೆಕ್ಷುವಲ್ ರೀಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಬಟ್ ಈ ಮೇಲ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗ್ತವು ಅನ್ನುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಇನ್ ದ ಆರ್ಗನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ ಬಾಡಿ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್, ನೋ ಡೌಟ್, ಬಟ್ ವೆದರ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಗಿವ್ ರೈಸ್ ಟು ಬೋತ್ ದ gametes or else it needs different individuals. Okay, so the answer is the gametes, that means both male and female gamete may be produced by, okay, they may be produced by single individual or they may be produced by two separate individuals. That means male gamete and female gamete may be produced by, andre ಮೇಲ್ ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟು ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟು ಒಂದೇ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದೇ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಬಾಡಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗಬಹುದು, ಆರ್ ಇಟ್ ಮೇ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಬಿ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ಟೂ ಡಿಫರೆಂಟ್ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, if both male and female gametes are produced by same individuals, okay, same individual or only one individual, then it is called as hermaphrodite. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? hermaphrodite ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೇಲ್ ಮತ್ತು ಫೀಮೇಲ್ ರಿಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆದರೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ ಅನ್ನು hermaphrodite ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, sometimes it may be produced by two different individuals. Say for example, in case of human beings, male gamete is produced by the male individuals and female gamete is produced by female individuals, right? So next point, okay, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಎರಡನೇ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ hermaphrodite ಅನ್ನೋದು ನೆನಪಿಟ್ಕೋಬೇಕು ನೀವು. hermaphrodite ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ it is the condition in which, okay, it is the condition in which both male and female gametes are produced by same individual. Okay, it's a condition in which both male and female gametes are produced by same individual. The example is earthworm, right? Next one, the gametes, that means both male and female gametes, they fused to form, okay, they fuse to form what? Zygote. That means the fusion of male and female gamete, which is known as fertilization. Okay, after fertilization what happens? The egg cell will be developing into what? The zygote. That means male and female gamete fuse ಆಗ್ತವು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ. When the male and female gamete undergoes the fusion, okay, they will form the zygote. Okay, and this zygote will be single celled. Okay, this zygote will be single celled. Do remember here, the zygote will be single celled and it will develop into a complete new organism in further. Okay, after a certain period of development, the zygote will develop into complete organism. And very important point here, zygote will be diploid. Diploid means what? It will be having 2n number of chromosomes. Okay, zygote will be diploid or it will be having 2n number of chromosomes. Okay, and this zygote will ultimately give rise to what? The particular organism. Okay, complete organism can be produced by the zygote. Clear? So next point, sexual reproduction is an elaborate, okay, an elaborate, complex and a slow process, okay, compared to the asexual reproduction. In the asexual reproduction, I have told you, ಏನಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ it is fast process. Okay, it is the faster and quick process. ಯಾವುದು? asexual reproduction is faster and quick process, but sexual reproduction is an elaborate, complex and slow process. Why? Because in case of asexual reproduction, there is no need of formation of gamete, there is no need of attainment of maturity. Okay, that is why it will be very fast in nature. If you find the same thing in the sexual reproduction, or if you observe the same in sexual reproduction, in the sexual reproduction compulsorily the individual should attain maturity. The second point is they should produce the gamete, and those gametes should be combined or else they should fuse to form the zygote, and after formation of the zygote it should develop into new organism, which will take lot of the time. Okay, much of the time. Then next point, though they differ greatly in external morphology, internal structure and physiology, when it comes to sexual mode of reproduction, surprisingly they share similar pattern. That means the males and females, okay, even though they differ greatly in external morphology, okay, then structure, physiology, then it comes to sexual mode of reproduction, they share a similar pattern. That means in both males and females, excuse me, in both males and females, the gametes should be produced. Before the production of gametes, the basic requirement is maturity. After getting maturity, the gametes are produced and they will be fused to form the zygote. Right. Next one, characteristics of sexual reproduction. See, importantly, the sexual reproduction is most common in higher animals and plants. Okay, in case of higher organisms, sexual reproduction is most common. And next one is, it involves genetic recombination. Very, very important point about sexual type of reproduction is it involves genetic recombination. Okay, when both male and female gametes are fusing, the formation of gamete involves meiotic type of cell division. Okay, in case of formation of gamete, what will happen? Meiotic type of cell division will be seen. And during meiotic type of cell division, okay, during meiotic cell division, what will be taking place? You have already studied in the first PUC. Okay, in the meiotic type of cell division, crossing over will take place in which? Okay, crossing over adaga enagutte recombination, okay, will be taking place. That leads to what? The point variation. Okay, sexual type of reproduction involves variations. Okay, why? Because in the sexual type of reproduction, what will happen? The genetic recombination can be seen. Okay, since the genetic recombination is seen, the sexual type is most important and very, very necessary for the evolution. Okay, okay, coming to the characteristics of sexual reproduction. So what are the characters of sexual reproduction? The first one is, it is most common in higher animals and plants, that involves genetic recombination. The very, very important point about sexual reproduction is that it involves the genetic recombination. The very most important point is what? It involves the genetic recombination. So why it is so important to have genetic recombination? Because for the purpose of evolution, for the purpose of avoiding the problematic conditions or else the genetic problems that are resulted by means of some of the recessive traits, okay, it is very, very necessary to have genetic recombination, and these genetic recombinations will be taking place by means of sexual type of reproduction. That is why the sexual type of reproduction plays an important role, okay, in improving of or in the improvement of the organisms. Right. Coming to the next point, that why exactly recombination takes place in the sexual type of reproduction itself. Because in the sexual type of reproduction, the union of male and female gametes will take place, and during the formation of these male and female gametes, meiotic type of cell division will be taking place, and in the meiotic type of cell division, the crossing over of the chromosomes will be seen. Due to crossing over of the chromosomes, okay, the recombinations of the characters can be seen, and due to recombination, the variations in the particular organisms can be seen. That means sexual type of reproduction mainly causes what? The variations among the organisms, and these variations will be helping out for the organism for the improvement of the characters, okay, and ultimately for removing the pathetic characters or else for removing the recessive characters, okay, particularly. Right. That is how the sexual type of reproduction can give scope for, okay, the evolution. The sexual type of reproduction can give scope for what? Evolution. So that is how the sexual type of reproduction is most important, and it is most better one when compared with the asexual type of reproduction. The only point that is very, very important and that makes the sexual type of reproduction better one is the occurrence of recombination and variations. Since the recombination and variations are occurring in the sexual type of reproduction, it is better when compared with the asexual type, because in case of asexual type of reproduction, there will be no variations, okay, and the genetic content of the parent will be similar to that of the genetic content of the offspring which is produced. That is, they will be identical, there will be no variation. But in case of sexual type of reproduction, what happens? The variations are seen, and these variations help a lot for the purpose of what? Evolution. That is how sexual type of reproduction is most important from that of what? A sexual type of reproduction. Coming to the next point. For the sexual type of reproduction, the individual should attain an important stage called as maturity. That means for the production of the gamete, for the formation and release of the gamete, and for the purpose of sexual type of reproduction, the individual should be mature. That means physically it should be prepared for the purpose of sexual type of reproduction. When the individual's body is completely ready for sexual type of reproduction, okay, it will start showing some changes. That is, the maturity signs will be seen. Okay, secondary sexual character development can be seen. Okay, all those will be taking place after certain period of time. Okay, after certain period of time, when the juvenile stage ends, then maturity will be initiated, or the individual will start attaining maturity. So see here, based on this, organism's life can be divided into two phases. Okay, that is juvenile phase, and second one is mature phase. Coming to the first one, that is juvenile phase. Okay, the juvenile phase is also known as vegetative phase in case of plants. Okay, why? Because in this particular phase there will be no formation of gametes. Okay, there will be no chances of having sexual type of reproduction. The juvenile phase is meant for development or else preparation of the individual's body for the process of sexual reproduction. It means in the juvenile phase what happens? The body of the individual will start preparing for the sexual type of reproduction. Okay, body of the individual will be starting preparing for the sexual type of reproduction. Okay, when it is ready for the sexual type of reproduction, it will be showing the characters such as the maturity characters. Okay, what are maturity characters? Nothing but these are the characters which are developed by means of the release of sex hormones particularly. Okay, when the individuals attain maturity, then he or she or the individual will start producing the secondary sexual characters. That is the indication of maturity. Okay, and what is juvenile phase? Juvenile phase andre enu? It is a phase, or it is the time period of an individual's life before the maturation or before the initiation of the gamete formation or before the initiation of the characters of maturity. Maturity ಬರೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಆ ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಗಾನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಏನಿರ್ತದಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಒಂದು ಆರ್ಗಾನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ ಲೈಫ್ ಬಿಫೋರ್ ಮ್ಯಾಚುರಿಟಿಗೆ ಏನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? ಜುವೆನೈಲ್ ಫೇಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. When it attains maturity, that means when the individual's body start producing the gamete or start releasing the gamete, then it is called as maturity. In the mature phase, or mature phase is the time when an individual will be developed completely and ready for the sexual type of reproduction. Okay, maturity andre enappa antandre, it is the time period or it is the phase in which an individual will be ready for, okay, it is the time period or it is the phase in which an individual will be ready for what? The sexual type of reproduction physically. Okay, andre in his or her body or in the individual's body, what will happen? The particular changes will be taking place and they will be ready for what? Or the individuals will be ready for the sexual type of reproduction. Coming to the next one, interestingly, there occur a great variation in the juvenile phase of an individual with respect to time. Okay, with respect to time, ಏನಾಗುತ್ತಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದರೆ in the sexual type of reproduction, okay, that too in particular the juvenile stage, what happens? There occurs lot of differences or lot of changes with respect to the bodily characters as well as the physiological characters. It means in case of plants, say for example annual, biennials or perennials, we can see the differences in their flowering time. Okay. So, flowering time indicates the maturation of that particular individual. Okay. And in the plants, in some cases we can see the proper flowering time or proper timing of the flowering, but in some cases it is not seen as usual. Okay. Say for example, in case of bamboo tree, okay, it flowers only once in its lifetime. Okay. It flowers only once in its lifetime, right. Say for example, if the bamboo tree have got 50 to 100 years of lifetime or life period, in that 50 to 100 years, bamboo tree flowers only once. Similarly, another plant called as Strobilanthes kunthiana, which is commonly known as Neelakuranji. This particular plant flowers only once in 12 years, okay, regardless of the particular climatic conditions, regardless of the season, okay, it will be flowering only at once in the 12 years, right, which is important for your need point of view, or else in the CET also it is important. Next one, in the animals, okay, in this slide we have discussed about the plants, and coming to the animals. In animals also, they show great variations or great differences in the morphology as well as physiological processes or physiological things, right. Animals allinu kuda we can observe, okay, the great changes, okay, both morphological as well as physiological changes can be seen, that too particularly prior to reproductive phase. Prior to reproductive phase, andre before or at the time of reproductive phase, the individuals will show lot many changes regarding to their what, morphological as well as physiological parts. So, as you have already observed, okay, you might be very familiar, okay, in case of boys, okay, after the time period of about 7th or 8th standard, that means when they start getting maturity, first of all the development of beard, development of mustache, bass voice and muscular body can be seen. When the boys start getting maturity, these characters, that means secondary sexual characters can be seen. What all the secondary sexual characters? First of all, the bass voice and development of pubic hair, then development of beard, mustache, then the muscular body. So, all these characters are seen in the boys. Okay. What about in the females? In the females, they will also show some secondary sexual characters that will be developing, such as enlargement of the breast, okay, then menstrual cycle, then the pubic hair development, then the fat accumulation in the particular parts of the body to give the feminine figure. So, that is how the secondary sexual characters will be seen when the particular organism is ready for the sexual type of reproduction, right. And based upon these changes, the individual's life or else the particular process of sexual reproduction can be divided into 3 events or 3 stages. First one, pre-fertilization period, second, fertilization period, third one is post-fertilization period, right. So, coming to one by one, pre-fertilization events. The first one is pre-fertilization events. This is the stage in which the individual will be showing 2 steps, okay, or it is a stage before fertilization where 2 important steps can be observed. The first one is gametogenesis, then second one is gamete transfer, okay, gametogenesis and gamete transfer. Coming to the first one, that is gametogenesis. Gametogenesis is nothing but the process of formation of haploid gametes from diploid gamete mother cells. The gamete mother cells are also called as gametogonial cells. Do remember, gamete mother cells are also called as what? Gametogonial cells. Okay, I'll write it here. The gamete mother cells are also called as gametogonial cells. Okay, gamete mother cells are also called as what? Gametogonial cells. And the definition, coming to the definition of gametogenesis, the process of formation of haploid gamete. Haploid gamete means what? Okay, haploid gamete means n number of chromosomes. Okay, from diploid, that means 2n number of chromosomes. Okay, the process of formation of haploid gametes from diploid gamete mother cells by means of mitotic and meiotic cell division. Very important point here. It is by means of what? Mitotic and meiotic cell division. So that is called as what? Gametogenesis. Next, when you observe the gametes which are produced may be similar or else they may be dissimilar. That means when the gametes, that means male and female gametes, when the male and female gametes are produced, the male and female gametes may have similar structure, similar morphology, or else they may even have dissimilar structure or morphology. If they are morphologically similar, then that type of gametes are called as what? Isogametes or homogametes. Okay, that type of gametes are called as what? Isogametes or homogametes. Okay, what are isogametes or homogametes? These are the gametes having similar structure or similar morphological structures. And what about dissimilar gametes? These are the gametes having dissimilar morphology or else difference in their morphological structures. Okay, they are called as heterogametes. We call them as what? The heterogametes. Clear? So that is how the gametes can be differentiated. Next one, gamete transfer. Okay, here first one, pre-fertilization event. Okay, in the pre-fertilization event, the first one is gamete formation and the second one is gamete transfer. So the first one, gamete formation, usually the gamete formation will take place in the primary sex organs. The gamete formation will take place in the primary sex organs, and that gamete which are formed inside the body, they should meet and for their union, what should happen? The male and female gamete, for their union, they should be transferred. That means either of these gametes, okay, either of these gametes may be motile. That means any one may be motile. In case of humans, the male gametes are usually motile and female gamete is non-motile. The male gamete which are motile, they should go towards the female gamete for the fusion, and that process of transfer of male gamete towards the female gamete is called as gamete transfer. Okay. In case of some exceptions such as algae and fungi, both male and female gametes are what? Motile, right? In case of algae, bryophytes, pteridophytes, the male gametes are transferred through water and it is called as zooidophily. Okay, zooidophily it is called as. Andre, by means of water medium they will be transferred. In some angiosperms, the pollen grains are transferred by anther to the stigmatic surface. Okay, and the mechanism is called as pollination. What is pollination? The process of transfer of pollen to the stigmatic surface. Okay. Coming to the next point, that is fertilization. Here what we have studied, pre-fertilization events alli ಏನು study ಮಾಡಿದ್ವಿ? Gametogenesis, that means formation of the gamete, and the formed gametes will be transferred. When they meet each other, then what it should happen? It will lead to fertilization. What is fertilization? Okay. The process of fusion of male and female gamete. What is fertilization? The fusion of male and female gamete is called as fertilization. Okay. And ultimately, by means of fusion of male and female gamete, what will happen? Okay. By means of fusion of male and female gamete, what will happen? It will lead to a formation of zygote. Very important, see here, the male and female gamete which are there, the male and female gamete which are there, they are haploid in nature. As we have already discussed, they are haploid in nature. Okay. But the diploid condition will be occurring when both of these are going to fuse. When both male and female gamete fuse together, they will form the diploid zygote. And do remember that zygote will be diploid and it will be single celled. Okay. Zygote is diploid and the formed zygote will be single celled always. Okay. And thus the formation of zygote by means of fusion of male and female gamete is called as fertilization. And in the fertilization, there are two types. First one is internal fertilization, second one is external fertilization. Coming to the first one, that is internal fertilization. It is a type of fertilization in which fusion of male and female gamete will take place inside the female reproductive tract, or it is the fusion of male and female gamete that takes place inside the body of an organism. It is a type of fertilization in which fusion of male and female gamete will take place inside the body of an organism. Okay. Say for example, in case of humans, right. Coming to the next one, that is external fertilization. What is external fertilization? It is a type of fertilization in which the fusion of male and female gamete, okay, it is a type of fertilization in which fusion of male and female gamete will take place outside the body of an organism, inside the medium such as water. Okay. Illenagutte external fertilization alli fusion of male and female gamete will take place outside the body. Andre body bittu horagade fusion of male and female gamete agutte. Body bittu horagade antandre elli agbodu. Okay. In the water medium, say for example in case of frogs, frogs will lay the eggs in the water, right, and the male frog will come and it will inseminate these particular eggs in the water itself. That is, the male and female gametes are going to fuse only in the water medium, not inside the body of the female. This type of fertilization outside the body of the female or inside the medium called as external fertilization. Coming to the next point, that is post fertilization events. It is post fertilization events. Okay, what are post fertilization events? These are the events that takes place after the formation of zygote, okay, or after the fusion of male and female gamete. Okay. Soon after fusion of male and female gamete, the first point which takes place is zygote. Okay, zygote will be formed, and you know that zygote is a diploid, okay, which is resulted by the fusion of male and female gamete, right. The second point is embryogenesis. Do remember that after the fertilization, the zygote will be formed, which is called as zygote formation or formation of the zygote. And after the zygote formation, the next step is embryogenesis. Do remember that zygote will be diploid and it will be always unicellular or single celled. The single celled zygote will undergo continuous mitotic cell division. Very, very important point. Do remember, zygote will undergo continuous mitotic cell division to form what? Embryo. Okay. Zygote will form continuous, or zygote will undergo continuous mitotic cell division to form An embryo. And this process of formation of embryo by means of continuous mitotic cell division is called embryogenesis. Okay, it is called as embryogenesis. Next, the embryo which is formed, okay, it may be formed in a shelled cavity or shelled structure called as egg, or else it may be directly given birth. Okay, depending upon that, we can classify the individuals into oviparous individuals or viviparous individuals. Oviparous individuals are those individuals which will lay the eggs. That means they lay the eggs to give birth to their young ones. Okay, and these eggs may be shelled or else they may be not covered by the shell. And in case of viviparous, the animals give birth to the young ones directly without formation of any egg. Coming to the last point, in case of plants, we can see the development of seeds instead of eggs as in case of animals. Animals alli eggs lay ಮಾಡೋದನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಅದೇ in case of plants, we can see the development of seeds, okay, and these seeds in case of angiosperms are covered by or are enclosed by the fruit layer. But in case of gymnosperms, okay, there will be no fruit layer. That is why the gymnosperms are called as what? Naked seeded plants. But in case of angiosperms, they are covered by what? The fruit layer. Clear? And this completes the explanation of the particular chapter, the particular chapter, that is reproduction in organisms. And in the next part, we shall continue about what? The questionnaire. Okay. Thank you.